When you look at the videos now that we put on Instagram, don't you have a slight a desire to look a little better? I know I do. I put on the lights today. I put on a night next to Heather Graham. I did not look good, so today I put on the lights.
No one next to Heather Graham.
I know, but today I saw the Heather Graham videos and I was like, Jesus, put on a nice shirt, Zach. Put on some lights. Fuck.
She was a spectacular guest, actually.
She was, but she also looks like Heather Graham. So next to her, it's like accentuated that we don't look that great. Well, I should say I don't look that great. You always look great.
Well, today I don't look my best. I was in the animation studio, as you can see.
Yes, you're very close to the camera today, but this is going to be an extreme close-up of you.
Am I close, or is that
the frame actually doesn't look that bad. If you click expand frame, you can see what his full frame looks like.
Oh, I see. Good. I have him in a vertical.
I had to do the same thing. I will say it is a little bit of a low angle. Is there any way you can get it a little bit higher?
I mean, I could go to the back.
I might prefer it. Oh, wait, go to the back of like the room, or just go behind the. What do you mean?
Go and get a little higher.
That'd be great.
Oh, he's doing a weed joke.
Hold on 1 second.
This man. I can't believe I missed that.
What? Yeah, the weed joke? Yeah, Dan, I thought you of all people would pick up on a weed
That's
joke.
what happens when you don't smoke weed for a year.
Oh, you gave up weed?
Good for you.
No, well, for now.
Oh, but wait, you haven't smoked weed for a year?
Correct.
That's impressive. You buried the lead.
Impressive.
You've hid that from our community, who's always interested in how much weed you're consuming.
I assumed that he hadn't, because for a little bit, Daniel was a little upset about shit.
Oh, you saying he was grumpy? Yeah,
he was just a little grumpy for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you were going through withdrawal of cannabis withdrawal.
Yes, just for a little bit. I was like, "What the fuck is up with Daniel?"
Oh, it was cannabis withdrawal. I see.
He was mad because of the weed. Now I know, and knowing is half the battle.
There you go.
What's happening over there with the camera, bro?
I'm trying to fix it, man. It's a whole rearranging situation.
What you trying to get into a day soon? What you trying to do?
Let me tell you, man.
I have so many topics I want to talk about before we're joined by the incredibly funny Nicole Sullivan. Donald, you know how excited we are about the Wicked movie coming out.
What just happened?
Well, the Wicked people are putting out a toy. Every kind of toy that exists, there's a Wicked.
No!
What are you saying?
Good Lord, his camera fell over.
Oh God, weed guys, not even once.
Not even once.
I would like the record to reflect that those of us who don't smoke weed have our cameras set up properly, and those of us who are high as balls can't seem to set up a webcam.
It's not a webcam. It's a freaking point and shoot, man. This thing has to have a.
You know what you need. What you should get, Donald,
it doesn't mount to the computer. It doesn't.
I know, but what I have is it's on one of those things you can move around, like a light that screws to your table, and then I can move it up and down and all around.
It's like a mic arm.
A mic arm. It's like a mic arm.
Yeah, you also have a mark. I can't tell my wife, yo, you know what I need, babe? I need this. You have somebody that can get that shit.
Donald, you couldn't set up a mic stand on your desk?
Did you set up the mic stand on your desk?
Absolutely. I've set up all of this.
All right, Donald, I'm going to make you an offer. I am coming to Los Angeles.
Oh.
At the end of October, at the end of this month, and I will come over and set this up for you if you would like that.
I love it. Let's do it. And then you can see the studio and you can see what I'm doing. I've already, first shot is beginning. Lighting, everything. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. All of this money that I've put into this room and this hobby of mine, finally, first shot, we're beginning.
Are you going to use our puppets?
I think we should be in the movie. I wanted to talk to you about this, bro.
No, but I would like you to be putting effort using our puppets.
All right, listen.
If I see that puppet with the dreads that you love one more time, when you've got Zach and Donald puppets,
listen to me.
Why are you so addicted to him? Why don't you use us?
Listen to me. Because we don't have the proper stuff yet. But this is what I'm thinking. I think you and I should be in this movie as Tag and Bank.
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean again?
What does Tag and Bank mean?
I don't know either.
Let me get this mic right.
Do you want to talk about the two topics that I want to talk about, or do you want to talk about Tag and Bink?
You were asking me about my room. Okay, let's talk about your two topics. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the Wicked movie is coming out, and they made a little mistake. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, Wicked, the musical, Act 1 ends with a very big, huge song called Defying Gravity, made famous by Adele Dazeem, Idina Menzel.
Adele Dazeem killed it.
Adele Dazeem killed it. She originated the part.
Talented.
And she's wickedly talented. And her name is Adele Dazeem. And she has the most insane voice. What. And it ends with this huge number that's very exciting, and it's thrilling. And anyone who loves musicals, it was a very special moment. So they were releasing all these toys for the Wicked movie. And someone fucked up because one of the toys is a microphone where you can sing along. And the toy came out, and if you hit a button, it fucking plays the final, the epic moment with now Cynthia Erivo singing the song.
Do you know why?
I want to show you guys a picture of what I'm looking at here, just so you see.
I can't see it.
It looks like a dildo, but look, it's a microphone.
Okay. Yeah, it does
look at
look
this.
like a dildo.
You can't see that, though?
I do see it. It looks like I didn't want to say that, but yes.
Damn.
Well, it's a pink microphone that could also be a dildo. But don't put it inside you if you're a grown adult. You got to really love Wicked to do that. While it's playing the song.
Or just the pleasure of something that size up inside you.
Listen, Erivo has the sickest voice on earth. And it's going to be very exciting.
And it's
by the way, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but I've listened to it like 10 times already from this little microphone. That's my Super Bowl. That's my Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now. Erivo did the Whitney Houston to that bad boy.
What do you mean? She did another...
The Star Spangled Banner is an amazing song. Mm-hmm. We as Americans know this.
Yes.
There's very few times that it was sang where everyone in America's like, that's the best version of that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston, for that, was it the Super Bowl? Whatever Super Bowl that was?
I don't know.
Her version of the Star Spangled Banner is probably the best version of the Star Spangled Banner I've ever heard. Not only is it the best, everybody bites off of what she did.
But circle back to Erivo. Holy shit.
Let me go. I thought after hearing Adele Dazeem, I too have dyslexia, so therefore it's now Adele Dazeem.
You were going to dyslexia his dyslexia.
Dyslexia, right.
You'd think it would cancel each other out and you'd be back to Idina Menzel.
No, but it doesn't. It's, But I thought she did I've seen this show several times. I still thought she was the best to sing it. After Cynthia Erivo, I'm going to have to go Cynthia Erivo right now.
Wow.
Well, I just want to say that I don't know if they did. I don't know if they did.
I would like to see a battle if somebody wants to compare.
I don't know if they did leak this thing on purpose, but
I think they did. It's a Deadpool maneuver.
It definitely made me more intrigued to see the movie. So
it's a Deadpool maneuver for sure.
What's the Deadpool maneuver?
Well, Ryan Reynolds was
they leaked something.
Well, Ryan Reynolds was Deadpool originally, and 20th Century Fox did the movie with him in a Wolverine anthology film, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really that good. So he thought his chance of playing, and then Green Lantern came out, and people were like, "That shit's whack." So he thought his chances of playing a superhero were gone. And somebody said, "You should revisit Deadpool," and he was like, "Yo, dude, this is all stuff that he said in the interview," and I'm paraphrasing. It's not quoting. He said, "Dude, I did that already, and it didn't work." And they were like, "Just read the comic." He does, and he's like, "Oh, this is a different take on it." Him and his buddy put the outfit on and shoot him as this character and leak it, right? 20th Century picks up on it, and they're like, "All right, let's do something with this." Not to be seen. He leaks that too. So now the public's like, "I want that Deadpool. I want this version." You know what I mean? And I think that's the exact same thing.
And now he has $10 billion.
And now he's rich as fuck. But it's a great strategy, man. Leak something that you know everybody wants. Yeah. That's the one. I'm sure there are many more songs in the movie that are going to be
I think
great.
it's going to be really good. Speaking of movies that have had a very hard time lately, we should discuss for a second what happened to Joker 2. My goodness.
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
I haven't seen the movie either, but it's not doing very well. People aren't seeming to really like it. Both audiences. Oh, there's Joelle just in time to talk about pop culture.
You missed the Wicked talk.
Play the song, Dale. Joelle Monique is down to get down as an entrance for Joelle.
Get the word out all over the town. Joelle Monique is down to get down. No matter what's between your legs, tomorrow morning you could be making an X. Joelle Monique is down to get down. Oh yeah, Joelle Monique is down to get down.
Joelle, we missed you. I just was bringing up the subject of Joker 2. I don't normally like to talk about anyone's projects that don't perform because I want to celebrate all artists, but it is sort of a big pop culture moment for cinema, how colossally the movie flopped. What are your thoughts?
I covered this on NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour if you want a very detailed and in-depth description of how I feel about this.
And that is how you make an entrance, ladies and gentlemen.
She's one sentence in plugging a different podcast. Joelle, can you give our listeners something from pop culture, for God's sake?
I just let you know, I know we're trying to keep it tight, so I just let you know there's a full... But I think it is a movie that deeply misunderstands why musicals exist and what makes the Joker interesting.
Sorry to interrupt. You've seen it, obviously, Joelle. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it deeply misunderstands musicals. I don't think it understands what a musical is, why they exist, how music should be used, or anything like that. I think it misunderstands what makes the Joker interesting, which to me is his deep love and affection for Batman and how that fuels him and compels him to be able to be as chaotic as he wants to, because hey, there's like a guy on a suit and a rubber suit, like fighting people. I can also be crazy. And on top of all that, deeply misunderstands how the prison system works. And on top of all of that, it is a courtroom drama. It's a hot mess. It's genuinely a hot mess of a film.
Yeah, without spoilers, because I've been actually avoiding spoilers. I know there's a twist ending. I have avoided seeing it because I'm kind of curious to maybe go see it.
I heard about the twist.
Well, don't reveal it for anybody. But I heard that the fans, I mean, critics aside, because critics are critics, they love or hate things, but the audience, the fan base for the film seems to have really been pissed off. Like they really feel let down by the promise of what it was going to be.
The film seems to not like the fans. It seems to call into question their taste.
How do you? I keep reading that. How do you mean? Because I keep reading that.
The film has a very strong stance on fandom as a whole, and it also has a lot to say about who and what the Joker is, and if you enjoy that character, what that might say about you, which is again a very odd stance to take when you made $1 billion extremely successful movie off of these people who enjoyed your film. It seems to suggest that it is chaotic to be this intense about a character, and whether it's that you love him, you want to emulate him, you dress like him, like that's chaotic and unnecessary. I don't necessarily agree. I think fandom can be a great place.
So cosplay is chaotic, then, is what they're saying.
A little more pointed about specifically. There was a lot of talk around the first film that it might rile up incels, sort of make a hero out of the Joker, who in the film is essentially becomes a terrorist, right? And so there was a lot of concern of like, is this art too far? Which is a ridiculous question. It's art. People have different levels of taste. Obviously, nothing happened because this movie existed. And so I think Todd Phillips as a director has a right to be like, that was a really weird take that in a lot that you put on this movie I made. But then in addition, any fan of the Joker in the film is seen as being like a very intense follower who might become a terrorist. You're like, wait a minute. Why?
Oh, so I see. So it sort of takes digs at the people that were obsessed with the first movie. Mm-hmm. I see. That's bold. That's a bold choice, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
It is very bold.
I think Warner Brothers will be just fine, but it seems like a stressful day at the office.
A $200 million movie making $40 million is stressful.
Well, $200 million production cost. I think I read that it's $300 million with advertising.
And how much did they spend on Batgirl and they just dropped that too.
But James Gunn, I've done a little reading on this. So James Gunn wasn't involved in this at all, and he's been tasked with sort of, restarting DC. Also, this was, as I read, approved and pushed through by the previous administration of Warner Brothers, not the new heads. And also, like I read, like the analysis saying, who wouldn't have taken a guy, who wouldn't have taken a risk on a guy who's made the studio over $1 billion between the Hangover movies and.
Is it fair to say that maybe he didn't want to make a Joker 2 and was forced?
He didn't want to make a Joker 1.
2?
He wanted to make a movie about a man in dissent. That's not a diss. He wanted to make a movie about a man in dissent, and Warner Brothers was like, maybe it could be about the Joker. Like, that would be cool. And he was like, finances? Awesome. Like, let's roll. And then did. And so I think.
But then it was an enormous hit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's a lot of pressure. Like,
neither he nor Joaquin wanted to make a second one, but they backed up the Brinks truck, and they finally hit a number where they were like, both like, okay. But then he was like, but no screen tests, like no testing it. So they never tested the movie.
So maybe this is his way to get out of having to.
It's bold.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say you know what I mean? I don't want to say it, Joel, because I think that's but
I don't know what you're saying. I don't even know what you're implying. I think it's his way of making a preposterous amount of money and be like, fuck you, I don't want to make superhero movies anymore. But he's still going to be allowed to make whatever he wants. I mean, he's made so much money for people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He'll be fine.
He's not going to director jail. He's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to director jail. I don't know, man. I don't understand. You know, you want to stick the landing. Everybody wants to stick the landing. The way it sounds like he, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But it sounds like a big fuck you. That's all.
Bro, I want to see it. Then I don't normally go see these movies, but I'm so curious about.
But isn't that the Joker too? I'm just saying.
Go see it. I would love to hear your opinion, Donald.
Couldn't you go meta and say this is what the Joker would do if he was directing the movie?
If he was
make a movie to piss everybody off.
You know what I mean? Isn't that at the end of the day what the dude would do?
We'll probably love it, Donald. It's a musical.
But it's not original songs. There's like only one original song in it.
Yeah, it's just covers of like what, classics?
Yeah, but classics, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a courtroom drama, apparently. So if you care to find me, look to the western sky.
As someone told me lately,
everyone
deserves a chance to fly.
All right, Nicole is here. Should we start the show?
Yes, let Nicole in. Wait, count us in, Donald.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stories about a show we made about a bunch of docs and nurses and a janitor who loved to hate. I said he's got stories that you all should know. So gather round to hear our Scrubs Rewatch show with Zach and Donald.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a guest. Nicole Sullivan is a hilarious woman. Oh my God, there she is.
Nicole Sullivan.
Thunderous applause, Daniel. Thunderous applause.
Holy cow, that's loud, Donald.
Nicole Sullivan,
Hi,
you
guys.
beautiful thing. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys doing? You're crushing it on this. I love it.
You are not only
cow.
hilarious, but the best guest we
Nicole
could have.
Sullivan is
Donald, I'm
here.
doing an introduction.
I'm doing the background vocals for
Well,
it.
it's going to be distracting, Donald.
Okay.
Can you repeat the part where you say the best guest without Donald
You're an amazing
chiming
guest
in?
for us to have because not only are you hilarious, but you have a Scrubs history. You were Jill Tracy on the beloved show Scrubs.
And you're
That's right.
actually a friend, too. So this
I
is
am a
all
friend.
good stuff.
I've known you guys forevers.
We have.
Forevers and evers.
I had no idea until I did my research that you went to the Harvard of the Midwest, Northwestern University.
Yes, I did.
And I thought to myself, that's why she's so good.
We crush it out there at the Northwestern people.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
There's a lot of you. There's a lot of us.
Yes.
There's a lot of us.
I'll tell you what, that Northwestern gave me it was super helpful. Here's why. I was not popular in school. And I know, like, what do you mean popular in college? But, like, you can be in the theater department, either very like you can be someone who's cast a lot and stuff. And like back then they would literally post it on the wall like you see in like movies like, hey, did I get it? Did I get it?
Yeah.
And I would go time and time again like, nah. And I didn't stop. I mean, by the time I graduated, it was getting a little better, but I was not particularly cast a lot. And I tell you what, I moved out to LA. And so as opposed to people that like come out from, a small town where like, I'm the star. I was like, oh no, I'm a piece of shit. And so I flew to LA with no rejection being like, yeah, that's what everyone gets, rejection. So LA didn't bother me.
You feel like it prepped you to be resistant to the amount of rejection you were going to get.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
is that sad? Was it like sad.
That? I was like, was it like that for you, Zach?
Well, I was mostly focused on film at Northwestern. I took an acting class, but bizarrely, the programs were pretty separate. And so if you were all in on theater, you got to take anything related to theater. And I was mostly making short films. But I didn't do much theater work. There was a very cool improv troupe with Seth Meyers was in it when I was there. Were you involved in? I think it was called Meow, right? Were you involved with that at all?
I did not get cast in Meow. I auditioned 1 year and did not get cast. But I didn't do comedy. Like comedy was not on my radar at all.
Really?
At all. Like I auditioned for that because my friend was auditioning and I made it to like the final cut and I was like, that was cool. And there was no part of me that was like, that was my goal at all, to be in the Meow Show or improv or any of that. Like when I graduated, I genuinely thought and wanted to do repertory Shakespeare. That was what I wanted to spend my life doing was like,
holy fuck.
I loved Shakespeare. I loved it.
Do you still love it?
If I came across it, I would be my son. Like whenever my kids have a Shakespeare project, I'm like, I can totally help. I love Shakespeare. And they're like, shut the fuck up.
Do you see Shakespeare when you go to New York, or do you ever see the shows, or you just or
very rarely? Very rarely, I let it go.
I bet you'd be great at Shakespeare. I know. I'll let it go.
It's a lot. It's a broader style of acting, which I think is where that sort of came into comedy, But anyway, yeah, like I was going to do that and I was like going to go to Asheville and like, places like that, up the Pacific Northwest where there's really great repertory theaters. And, but then my friend Suzanne was like, I'm going to go to LA. Do you want to try LA for a minute? I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I came on and I was temping with a friend in New York City. I grew up in New York City. I was temping with a friend at Ernst & Young. And my friend who I was temping with, she was like, I think my sister is like a casting director. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, call her when you get out there. I did. I'd been out here in LA for, 4 minutes, like literally 4 days, I think. And I went in and read, and I got cast on a little show called Herman's Head.
Oh, Herman's Head. I remember that. There were different people in a man's head.
Exactly.
I remember that show.
Yes. Yeah. So I got 3 lines
that
on
MTV?
Herman's Head.
What was your line? Do you remember? What did you say?
I'm looking for Hattie Newman. Hattie. And then I said something like, this box is for her. And then I said,
good. That's good. I can see why you got it.
I guess. Yeah. Nailed it. But I got a paycheck and I was like, you're paying me what? Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't even believe that you could get paid. I don't remember what it was. Maybe let's say $800.
Right.
Yeah, for
3 lines. And I was like, I'm staying in LA.
Right.
And then I didn't work for 2 years, but that's fine.
Yeah, but when you come out here, it can be such a mind fuck because it's like it's like gambling in Vegas where you sometimes it hits and you're like, oh my God, I'm winning.
Yeah.
And then 2 years go by and you're like, I haven't won in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. But you just like people who are addicted to gambling, you don't want to leave the casino. You're like, I have to stay. I won that one other time. I got to keep going for it.
Yeah. I will say the thing that messed with my head the most was commercial auditions. Like I had to stop auditioning for commercials long before I could afford to stop auditioning for commercials. Like it messed with my head. Like the other auditions, like you do what you can. Commercial auditions, like I would get in the car afterwards and like turn my mirror to my face and like practice what I had just done. Like it's not like I'm getting a second shot. I already put the gum in my mouth and said delicious or whatever I had to say. But it messed with my head. I was like, oh, this, and like that drove me crazy because that was literally just like spinning a roulette wheel.
Yeah. I'm always amazed. I used to direct commercials. I still sometimes occasionally do it. I'm always amazed that anyone ever gets picked. I mean, it's so, they bring people in 6 at a time. They say, say the line or do this little pantomime. And there's so many people weighing in on it. I stopped auditioning when I was first starting out. I stopped too. I was like, this is just, I have no control over this. This is about the way I look and whether I said your keys, sir, right? I mean, it's just, it's too humbling.
It's it's too humiliating in many ways. And
Donald did well as a child with commercials. Here's a little quote from one of his hits in a Folgers commercial.
You have been gone for a while.
Yes, that's when his brother has been gone a long time. Donald, what was your secret?
War.
What was your secret? Yeah, it was an Iraq War Folgers commercial. What was your secret, Donald, for getting commercials back in the day? Being a cute kid?
I'm going to be honest with you. My first commercial that I went out on was oatmeal raisin crisp commercial, and I had to sing and smile, and I was really good at doing both of those things. And so I got it.
That's adorable. I mean, look at that face, though. Look at those. I mean, come on.
You should have seen him as a little kid.
As a baby, I was
so
really
cute.
As a kid, I was really cute.
You have been gone a long time.
Yeah, because I couldn't act for shit.
Yeah, but you're so cute. So
some people out there like, you motherfucker, you still can't act.
Oh, no one thinks you can act, Donald.
No one.
So what happened? So how did it become, I'm not interested in comedy, I want to do Shakespeare, I come out here, and then you get cast on one of the most beloved sketch shows ever, MADtv. What happened? What were the steps that led to that?
So back then, I mean, it's so weird. People are like, young people are like, how do you do business? I'm like, it's unrecognizable from when I started. It's unrecognizable. Like back when I started, I was a waitress and I was a temp and I worked 2 jobs. And I mean, I came out to LA with $500. Literally No. My dad gave me $500. I made $500. So I had $1,000 and that's all I had. So I worked 2 jobs, but it was, if you wanted an agent, you would meet a friend and they'd say like, oh, I have an agent, you should, and you'd go in, you'd do a monologue for them, I don't know, from something, and then you'd have an agent. Like it was that, then you had an agent. Maybe not a good one, but you had an agent. And that doesn't work anymore. But back then we would do these things called showcases where like you would do a show of some sort of scenes or sketches or something, and casting directors and or their assistants would come and they'd see people they liked. And so my friends and I, Gab Greenberg.
Gabby Allen, who was a writer on Scrubs and came on the show. Infamously, she came on the show and I hadn't watched the episode we were reviewing. She was, I think, the only guest when we were doing Scrubs episodes that never watched the episode. Right, Donald?
Yeah, she had never listened to the podcast.
She had never listened to the podcast. And at the time, it was a Scrubs rewatch podcast and she never got around to watching the episode that she wrote.
And it was during pandemic, so everybody was kind of like at home too. So there wasn't a lot going on.
She had some time. She had
a little bit of time.
But she's a historical guest in the context of the show, in that she's the only person on the rewatch version that didn't rewatch the show. But she was still fantastic. All right, so go ahead. You and Gabby.
So me and Gabby and an actor named Dave Strickland, who's since left us, unfortunately, and another guy named Joe, he's an accountant in Orange County. We did a sketch show, and we thought it was hilarious, and our friends would come see it. I mean, not hilarious, but we thought it was cute. And then someone saw that, and they said, "Come and audition for MADtv," and then I came back and like then they're like, "Bring." So I remember they're like, "So they need 5 characters." I was like, 5 characters? They're like, yeah, and or 5 minutes of your best material. I was like,
wait, sorry to interrupt. Was this the beginning of the show? The launch of the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
You were one of the first cast members.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that too.
Wait, let her finish, but then talk about it. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's really nothing else. I was like, I don't have any I didn't have that. Like I never did it. I never studied the Groundlings. I never did stand up. I never did anything like that. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And I came up with these just random weird 5 characters. And one of them, I kept a Post-it on my, wearing a miniskirt. I'm not an idiot. A Post-it on my thigh reminding me which character to do now, because I didn't know what I was doing. And oddly, we went callbacks, and then I got cast, and oddly, 3 of those characters were on the pilot. So like, it was one of those lessons that like, By the way, the Groundling people are insanely trained. It is such a skill, and they should be applauded, all of them, for what they accomplish. And it's unbelievable what they do. But it also spoke to me of like being someone that people root for. Like, you guys are the quintessential versions of that. Like, when people want to like you, when they want to root for you on their show, you as a character, you as a person, like, things go easier. Like, it's easier to get stuff done and get your funny across when people are rooting for you. And so that's what I learned about that. That was
when you got somebody in your corner. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the audience in your corner, once you can sort of figure that game out.
So were you just shocked? You had no experience and you get cast on the first season of this. MADtv was meant to be sort of, correct me if I'm wrong, sort of Fox's edgier version of SNL. They were going to go a little bit more twisted.
Yeah, it was, loosely based on the magazine, which was parodies.
Right.
So parodies was sort of the gimmick of it, and then sketches in between. But, movie parodies, TV. So it was never as cutting edge, or never as timely as SNL, because we were not live.
Right.
So we couldn't talk about yesterday's debate, nor would we have, because we weren't that heavy.
But
did you do it in front of an audience?
Yeah.
You did.
I'm going to say...
Go ahead, no, sorry.
I'm going to say this. This is how I was introduced to MADtv, the Clueless sketch. That was the first, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And being in Clueless, I'm looking for my character in there, but you guys only did Cher and Dion. But I'll never forget watching that and being like, oh, I got to watch the rest of this show. You guys had such great chemistry. That first year, the chemistry. Listen, holy shit. It was my go-to show. Like, you are watching Mad.
Yeah.
Right? That was right. Yeah. Am I right?
Yes.
I that was my go-to show instead of SNL for that time. I
hadn't thought about that song in so long. That was just so funny. You are watching MADtv. Mad.
Yeah.
And Mike McDonald has a Scrubs connection too. He was on it. I think he broke his penis, right, Donald?
He broke his penis, and he liked pain also.
Yes.
There was one where he liked pain and he broke his penis.
Yes. Oh my God, I remember that.
And then he directed
and then he directed quite a few.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
My favorite MADtv sketch that I can remember is Bobby Lee doing the green screen thing,
riding the dragon.
He was a green screen actor, and everything that he was being directed to do made it look like he was being in an orgy, beating off different people.
Well, you couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah,
he was riding the dragon first, and then somebody was attacking him, and he had to grab it, and then they were coming from all sides.
Yeah, because it was just green, and they were like, "All right, now we need you to. There's two different swords, and you need to shake them on either side of your mouth. You're going up and down like this." And if you haven't seen that,
oh my God, I have to watch that. I have not seen that.
You haven't?
Hilarious.
Oh my God, audience and Nicole, just put in Bobby Lee green screen MADtv in YouTube. It's hilarious.
How many seasons did you do MADtv for?
I did 6.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, and I'm out. But
was it every week? Would you do one every week?
It was like a sitcom schedule, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. But we were live in front of an audience, but of those 3 weeks, we would do live audience. Maybe I'm getting the math of it wrong, but it's similar to this. We would do 2 weeks live shows, like a regular sitcom in front of an audience and all that stuff. And then 1 week we would shoot the parodies, which were single camera or thereabouts. Yeah, but it's so funny. The Clueless one was I don't think I'm getting
that was the
wrong.
one that blew up. I promise you, that was the one where everybody was like, "What
and that
the
was my
fuck
first,
is this?" Yeah.
That was my first time doing an imitation of somebody. I'd never pretended to be.
Oh, but you nailed it so well. And I was like, D, I'll never forget. I'll never forget my mom's saying, "You got to see this. You got to see this," because I was still living at my mom's house at the time. After Clueless ended, I went back to New York and was living in my old room and shit like that. And I watched MADtv in New York City, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget. In Living Color amazing. And MADtv, both of them.
Yeah.
You used to do Hillary Clinton, right?
Yeah, really badly. Horribly.
Really? You didn't have a good Hillary?
No, couldn't get her voice. Mo Collins, I looked more like her. Right. I have the cankles. I'm not going to lie. I have the Hillary Clinton cankles.
Why?
And so if you put an inappropriately length dress, a skirt on me, it's startling. You're like, oh shit, there she is. But Mo Collins can really do her voice much better than I. I mean, impressions were never like my... Like that was
I don't feel like I'm a good impersonator. I feel like I would love to do sketch comedy. I would love to do some sort of improv troupe thing at some point in my life on my bucket list. But I impersonating people, I don't think it comes naturally to me. Are you looking at someone like
it's not my
It's weird to hear people talk about it too, right? Like they're always like it's a different tone, and they can hear the same like. Who was it? Was it Richard? What was the guy that used to do? He did everybody back in the day when we were younger.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Richard Little? No, that's not.
I think that's it. No. Is that it?
I have a Richard Little, OC, Canadian American impressionist and voice actor.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, that's him.
Richard Little, yeah.
And just him saying how he would find different voices in, you know what I mean? Because he was the best at the time.
Yeah, he could do anything.
Anybody, right? And how he could hear it. And who's the dude that does it, that was on your show? Now, he was on MADtv, as a matter of fact. He also has a thing where he talks about how he does the Super Bowl and he does...
Oh, Frank Caliendo? Frank Caliendo?
Right. Yeah. I don't know his name.
Yeah, Frank Caliendo.
Yeah, Frank Caliendo. He does a lot of impersonations.
Yeah. We overlapped a little bit. Someone was like, you overlapped like 2 or 3 years. I was like, we did? I think I'd had one conversation with that man. And I mean, we were on the same show for 2 years. We were just never in scenes together.
Right. Is that how it works?
What about Key and Peele? Were Key and Peele on the show?
They were after me.
They were after you.
Yeah. Okay. And Ike was after me, Ike Barinholtz, Josh Myers. Yeah, they were.
I'm just looking through it. It's amazing. Josh Myers, who's also a Northwestern graduate. There you
go. What's his name was on the show too?
Phil Lamar is like, by the way, if you IMDb Phil Lamar, you've never seen someone with more credits. Like it's because he does
a lot of voiceover.
So much voiceover. And
he actually wrote on the last show that I was on. He wrote on Extended Family. Yeah.
Oh, wow. He's like insanely talented, like just can do anything. And he was the one when I was like, I don't know how to do this. I think it was when I was doing, I don't remember who I was doing it. Anyway, right at the beginning, either Clueless or maybe it was Drew Barrymore. I don't remember. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. He's like, pick 2 things. He's like, watch a bunch of stuff. He pick 2 things. You get like, maybe he's like 1 vocal and 1 visual that they do and just latch onto those 2 things. You can't cover all the bases.
Wow.
And I was like, interesting. So that's what you do. Like one thing they do that you're just going to exaggerate and one way they look that you're just going to exaggerate.
Yeah. Phil is the voice of like everybody, man. Like
everybody, Batman to like
Static Shock, man. Like he's all over the place. Like, just amazing. Martian the Manhunter, just amazing. Like, just not only DC, but just, I mean, he's a great voice actor, and he's a great writer, and he's a great person too. He's actually a great. I'm glad you brought him up.
All right, so then you leave MADtv and you become very popular in the land of half-hour comedy.
Yeah. Now, I left MADtv because of I had an offer from King of Queens.
Right.
So I jumped onto that.
How was your experience on King of Queens?
Fantastic. I mean, fantastic.
You met your husband.
I did meet my husband there.
What's that story?
He was Kevin James' assistant. And me and my girlfriend, she was my friend Steph. She was the craft service person. She's amazing. And we would go in, we would drink our boobs off during the night and come in hungover and we're like, there's no men for us in this world. You know, how come we're fantastic? Like as we're like smoking cigarettes and blowing it out the window. Like we were so gross. We were such fucking party animals. And then one day I was like, oh, that guy. And I didn't even know what he did. And then it was the Christmas party and they had the Christmas party on the set when we were playing poker. And I was like, drunk, shocker. And I was like, I'm going to sleep in my room tonight. And I basically invited this guy, Jason, up. I was like, do you want to make out? Literally, like, I think I said it that simple. Like, go in my room and we can make out. And he's like, no. I was like, all right.
He said no.
No, I was like,
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
And I was like, that was embarrassing. And then a month later, he called me and asked me out. And he's like, I was dating someone. I didn't want to do that.
Oh. So and you've been together ever since?
We've been together ever since.
That's
adorable. What's crazy is that could never happen now.
What? I couldn't ask someone to go make out.
You can't.
Could.
No, you would not be able to do that at work. No, you would not.
I guess
just someone you barely know. Like, I mean, we weren't pals.
I guess not, because also you were on the show, so it's not appropriate.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, Kevin James was not thrilled.
Really? What was his reaction?
Not thrilled. I mean, he just, he's old school guy. Like, and I can talk about him because he's never going to hear this, and people are so scared of him that they would never repeat the story. That's the beautiful that you can talk. But I mean, he's a great guy. Like,
why is everybody so scared of him?
Well,
I don't really know much about him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you would just never go, "Hey, Kevin, I heard someone talk about you." You just wouldn't. Right. It would be you wouldn't want to get involved. But like, he's old school. Like it was a boys' club, man. That King of Queens was a boys' club, and it was like, and there was ranks. Like people, like you didn't. Like Jason he didn't like it.
Right.
But it was over. He got over it, and then we hung out with him.
When you say a boys' club, meaning like the writer's room and the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever see the comeback with Lisa Kudrow?
Yes. One of my favorite, it's the jacket, no jacket, when she said the upfronts.
I forgot.
Jacket, no jacket, when she has to crawl across the stage to the upfronts, jacket, no jacket. Oh,
the first season, if you've never seen it, of The Comeback is a spoof of an actress, Lisa Kudrow, trying to make a comeback in her career. And it's made like a fake documentary, and it's a mockumentary.
And there's nothing that there's nothing I've ever seen that was as true to that time in television as that show. Like,
and one of the things she faces is a writer's room of really alpha male chauvinistic men. The show that she's on is like the most ridiculous thing. It was Malin Ackerman's first big job, I believe, because she played the young hot girl, and there's some really funny stuff between the two of them. Lisa Kudrow having to deal with the fact that Malin Ackerman is sort of like the new her and all this stuff. But you just made me think of that sort of vibe of like an alpha male chauvinistic.
Yeah, and they were nice. I mean, I'm still friends with a lot of them. They were good guys, right? Like, it's not like they were mean. They were good guys and very talented, funny writers. It was just a bunch of white dudes in a room.
Right.
And that was just how TV was back then. But thank God it's changed.
Do you feel that your experience doing the sketch show gave you a leg up for getting sitcom work? Because that's sort of extra hard. Now you're just playing one character, you're creating a character, as opposed to trying to do impersonations.
Yeah, does that make you a specialist? We need a character for this show. Let's bring in Nicole.
I think it earns you clout that I may or may not have deserved, and I'm not being humble. I'm just saying, like I'm not Phil Lamar. You know what I mean? I'm not some of those people that have like gone up through the ranks. So I earned some sort of credit where maybe it wasn't due, but I had it. So I think that helps. I think the best thing about being on MADtv is it was such baptism by fire. Like, as far as the thing with comedy, as you guys proven over and over again by you guys, is that you can't be afraid to look stupid.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of feeling embarrassed, it's not going to work. It's just the comedy's not going to work. And that was, for me, the best lesson of MADtv is like, you're going to look like a dope and people are going to enjoy it. And that is a lot of comedy.
Yeah, we just had Henry Winkler on, and he said almost verbatim what you just said.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say the two nicest people in Hollywood are Henry Winkler and Sarah Chalke, although Sarah Chalke's no longer part of our community as much since she likes Canada more.
Yeah, she lives in Canada.
She only is willing to work in Vancouver. If you're Vancouver, please hire Sarah Chalke.
Yeah, she's
the queen of Vancouver. What are you talking about?
She's running that town. She's the Britney Spears of Vancouver.
She's running Vancouver right now. They're like, what's coming? I don't know, but Sarah got to be in one of them.
Sarah's in it.
Yeah.
Nicole, how did you come about getting on Scrubs? Were you friends with Bill and/or Christa beforehand?
Christa and I were besties. We lived together. We had a triplex. I don't know, like those houses when this is for the people in LA. When you drive in Laurel Canyon and you look up, you're like, who would live on that cliff?
Yeah.
Like, with those stilts.
Yeah.
As you're driving on that, we lived in one of those.
Okay.
And it was 3 stories, and I lived in the middle story and she lived in the top story. And we became really close. Like, we bonded over we were just shallow and hilarious, according to us.
And did you party a lot? Was there a lot of being beautiful young women out on the scene?
No, by that point, well, Christa went hard earlier. She was a New York babe. She was
a model in Manhattan.
Yeah, so I think she sort of sowed her oats earlier. So she and I didn't party a lot. No, she was. I mean, I still went out and partied, but she didn't.
Okay.
I think she was a little done. But we just hung out, and we were very, very close. I mean, she went on a second date with Bill because I made her.
Really? What's that story?
Because he wore Doc Martens and ripped jeans to the date. And she was not impressed.
And he had bleach blonde hair, didn't he?
Yeah, frosted tips. And she had met him at the upfronts where there was suits. He looked like, she was like, oh, I could date this. And then he showed up as Bill.
Right.
And she was like, no, thank you. And I was like, it's not that bad. You can tweak that.
You can tweak that. Just get rid of the jeans and the Doc Martens and maybe get rid of the hair dye.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories is that when she and Bill were first dating, he was so in love. I mean, she was in love with him too, but he was so puppy dog in love with her. Still is.
Yeah.
And she was out of town doing something, and I was going through one of my breakups, where all is lost. Yeah. And she's like, Bill, take her out to dinner. She's sad and lonely. Take her out to dinner. And he's like, okay. And we didn't know each other that well. I mean, we'd hung out, but so he took me out to dinner. I remember I went in my pajamas because I was so depressed, and I ate. And back then, Atkins, I hadn't eaten pasta in 5 years or something ridiculous. And I ate a bowl of pasta like a fucking animal at dinner in my pajamas. And Bill was just like, oh, so anyway, you could do better.
He didn't have to give you a pep talk? He was
this was not what he wanted to be doing at all.
That's a funny request from a girlfriend. I'm not in town. My friend's super depressed in her pajamas. Yeah. I need you to take her out and cheer her up.
Yes, it's it was a sideways request, and he did it.
Because he knew.
He was so in love with her.
He was so in love,
He's still to this day, as you said. I mean, he's so smitten. Let's talk about voice acting, because you kind of crush in that. You've been on Family Guy for quite some time as Mort Goldman's wife.
All right, so do you want to hear the Family Guy story?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's not fascinating, but it's interesting. So back in the day, they would spend money on people flying, Fox especially. I don't know what the budget was, but it was $1 billion to send us wherever was happening, right? So there's 1 million affiliates. Back then, Fox was still like if you turned your channel, it was still channel whatever, 42.
5.
So
11.
It was higher numbers.
Oh, okay.
And their goal was to get it down to 5s and 11s.
I remember when it became
and 2s.
5, yeah.
So because it was, and they wanted it to be a regular network. So they would do these, it was called a switch party. So if it was a number 52, then they were switching to number 5. And so you'd go for these switch parties, and these switch parties were happening all over the country all the time in all these different affiliates, right? All these different local areas. And so they would fly us everywhere. So anyway, but that's actually not even really the point. The point was they flew us to the Super Bowl every year, Fox actors, just to, whatever. And one year, so it was that year. Oh God, make this short, Nicole. That year was a Futurama came out, and I was cast as the female lead in Futurama, the Cyclops. Oh. And so I recorded the first episode. I think I did a second episode. I'm not positive, and was promptly let go. Wow. And they said it's not. So we needed something else. Okay,
that must have been really heartbreaking to get a part of it.
I didn't know I did. If I knew then what it was going to be, I would have been real mad. But then I just knew it was an animated show that I had and then I didn't have. All right.
Did they give you reasons? Did you seek out reasons? No, they just said, we don't like it.
It's not the voice we need. So then it's, I don't know, 3 weeks later, they call me back, and Matt Groening calls me, and he's like, hey, I'm so sorry. We thought we were looking for something, and we had it the whole time. That love, you were here in front of me the whole time. And, he's like, do you mind, can you forgive us and cut? He didn't use the word forgive.
They rehired you.
They rehired me. Oh, I then record episode 2 or something like that. Fire me again.
Oh my God. That's
and
so
I was like,
rough.
Are you kidding? And hire Katie Sagal.
Katie Sagal, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like,
that is humble pie.
That's fucked up. I mean, one time's enough, but 2 times is fucking
I get it.
cruel.
You want something different. I get it. Okay, get it. Go get her. Oh, we couldn't find her. You're the one. Never mind. We found her. So it was harsh. And so I was Very mad. So this year, the same Futurama and Family Guy came out the same year. So we were on this bus, like a charter bus, and they're on loop. They're playing it's a Fox charter bus, and they're playing the Fox shows this coming this season, and they're showing previews of all the shows. And Futurama, they were going hard. Like, this is the new, and like a little snippet afterwards, like, in the show Family Guy. Bah, 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 bah. And I remember sitting on the bus with this guy with Coke bottle glasses sitting there, and I was on the bus, and we were waiting for people, and we're watching this, and I was livid because I was like, oh, they're really promoting the show. And I'm like, oh, that show, I'm like so annoyed with it. He goes like, you're telling me, he goes, I created the other one, Family Guy. I go, really? So we sat next to each other on the bus and just bitched about how much promotion. And that was Seth. And he's like, do you want to do some parts? I was like, yeah, I'd love to do some parts. And then cut to, he's the most famous and amazing creator of all time.
Wow.
Well, he's done very well for himself.
He has done very well for himself.
It's a good guy to have as your friend, Nicole.
Yes, it was again bonded over people we don't like, just like Christa.
Yeah.
He too. Yes. When I first met him, we did and I probably met him before that. But every time I meet him, he goes, you probably don't remember, but we met before. This was until he became really famous, right? So we did. Right. We did Robot Chicken together. I know you've done Robot Chicken as well. Yeah. And we did a sketch where we did Thundercats, right? And he was Lion-O, and I was Mumra. And so we had to do the, when you watch it as a director, what's it called? The commentary for the DVD. I don't know if they do that anymore. Does that still exist in the streaming world?
I don't know. I mean, some people do it. I never did it for a good person. No one ever asked me to come do commentary. So not always.
And so I didn't know who he was or anything like that. And so the whole time they're talking and we're all talking and we're joking. And then my sketch comes on and I'm like, shh, everybody, let's keep, you know what I mean? Trying to command the room. But it's him. And I didn't know, I don't know who the fuck he was because I hadn't watched Family Guy yet. And then I remember, I'll never forget it, sitting in my, lying down in my bed with my girlfriend at the time, and it coming on and laughing my ass off and realizing that I was in the room with that guy and I fucking am in there fucking being this pompous, like, it was one of those lessons where you never know who you're in a room with. You never know how big, the world is really, 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 small. Watch what you say. And I was in there being this fucking brolic, trying to be the life of the party, and the comedy was sitting next to me, and I could have charmed him and got a job or something like that. But I was too busy trying to be that guy.
Well, we indirectly
the city is
made
filled with those moments. You're right.
We indirectly made it on the show when he made fun of us all the time on Family Guy. I want to meet Scrubs, and I want to meet Black Scrubs.
Black Scrubs, yeah.
Wait, I have a question for you guys. When you guys auditioned for Scrubs, like, did you? Because back then you'd go to the place and for the test, right? Did they pair you up during the test, or did neither of you test?
We never met. We hadn't met each other. We met at the first table read.
We met at the table read, which was at Christa and Bill's house. Actually,
no, it was Christa's house.
Christa's house that Bill had moved into. I'm sure you've been there.
Charlotte was a baby. Charlotte was like just born. Charlotte
was a little baby, and Donald was at the bar getting a drink, and he turned around, and I heard, "Oh!" I, at my test, read with Sarah Chalk, and I was lucky because Bill let us have a rehearsal session together. So we had sort of figured out some chemistry before going in front of all the suits. So when I got there, she was like a friendly face, like, an anchor.
It's a testament to what you said earlier. Each one of us got the part because we had somebody rooting for us. And in that one, it was Bill. You know what I mean? Bill really escorted us to the job.
Right, and he was Bill Lawrence, but he wasn't Bill Lawrence then.
No.
Like he could have been squashed. They could have been like, no, we're not using your pick, Bill, easily.
Of course. Right? In fact, I remember Bill's trying to play it super strategic because he has said in the years since, like, if I had gone so hard, like, this is who I want, they could have revolted against me. Yeah. I once directed a pilot for MTV, and It was down to 2 young women, and I thought one was better. They were both great, but I thought one was going to be a better lead of the show. And I had the echo of Bill in the back of my mind going, all right, don't push too hard because, then they're not going to go for it. So I said my piece. They chose the other person, and the show didn't work. And when it was over, they said we should have gone with your person. And I was like, well, I wish that we could have gone back and made it again because we all wasted a lot of time.
It's heartbreaking, really, when it goes that way, and as in your gut, like this is not and they go just that way, and you're like, well, it's not gonna work. I've seen I have a lot of friends who are showrunners and stuff, and I've seen them make casting choices that I'm like, oh no, and
Do you let your kids watch Family Guy? How old are they?
15 and 17.
Oh, so they definitely watch Family Guy.
Yeah, but they don't watch TV.
Do they watch YouTube?
Yeah. Or TikTok
probably.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, so they see. They've seen more than. Oh my god.
Poor business is on its last legs.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we even doing? I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
You get some bummed out. You talk to young people and like, what do you watch? And they're like, TikTok.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like you're not watching any of these shows? No, TikTok.
And if they're watching a movie, which I always think they're not watching, my kids are not watching anything full length because I've never, like they won't, even a basketball game that they're like, Laker fans or, whatever they can't even watch they leave the room several times that like it's too much in one spot. Like it's just a lot for them, for their brains. But like, even if they're watching a movie, they're doing something on their phone as well.
I saw this thing on TikTok where if someone's telling a story and they split the screen with some really interesting visual.
Yes.
So let's say I'm giving a bad example, but it's like someone scraping paint off a piece of metal. It's like an interesting visual,
like some ASMR type.
Right.
Yeah, so ASMR is the king.
I'm saying it's not a sound effect; it's visual.
Right.
So it's keeping their attention because they need 2 different things. Because just this person telling a story isn't enough. They need also simultaneously the wacky visual to hold their attention.
Oh, I didn't even think that's why. I was like, I don't even know who does that and why they do it. Oh my god, it never even occurred to me that's why they do it.
My kids love that. They not that they love it. They can recognize that shit. They're like, Dad, that's just ASMR, man. What are you doing? Like, that's all that is, right? The reason why you like that is because it's
ASMR meaning it sounds interesting.
But I used the wrong word, but I'm using ASMR for both. I don't know what the visual version of ASMR is.
I don't know what that is either.
Like stripping paint from a thing is
right. The
visual ASMR.
Right.
Yes.
But my kids, they recognize that shit. They look for other things. Like they look for the dogs and the cats and the jokes like Speed. That kid Speed, I show Speed. He's king. The World Cup. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, you're talking the wrong demo here, buddy. We don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Gosh, there's this kid.
It's a TikToker?
He does it all. But the kid's a phenomenal
I do love TikTok. I'm not going to lie. I'm a TikTok fanatic.
Really?
The kid's a phenomenal athlete.
Here's why I like it.
I feel like it's a drug I couldn't have on my phone. I'm already on my phone too much. I've tried it and I'm going, I can't have this. This is like giving me heroin.
I've never been a phone I've never faced the phone person. Like and TikTok came along and now I'm like, But here's why I like it. It's because it's no one I know. Like I don't want to heart someone's photo. I don't want to. I don't care. I mean, I care. I'm glad you had a great vacation. But I don't want to have to heart. Like it's so irritating to me and compare and despair. Like I don't want to compare my insides with someone else's outsides. It's just, it is fraught for depression for me and I don't want to do it. So I watch TikTok where I don't know anybody and I can't compare myself to whatever's happening.
It's interesting though that, I saw someone on doing an analysis of what's happening and it's basically like, it's all storytelling, right? So you can have a $200 million movie that tries to tell a story, or you can have someone with a really intriguing, unique personality staring down the camera telling you a story. And they're just different versions of someone trying to hold your attention and being really intriguing and charismatic and telling you a story. And these TikTok folks have figured out a way to do it and monetize it by just sitting there engaging you in storytelling, and it's really
now,
sort of captured. Yeah, you make money if you get above a certain number.
I just saw for the first time, and I've been doing TikTok for. I just saw, and I'm not going to remember the math of it, but it's something like it once you hit 50,000 followers or likes, then if you can keep people for more than a minute, you get paid.
Yeah.
Like between 50 cents and $1.25 per.
Oh, it's fucking making. Oh, got it. Well, now I see why it's so popular.
These big people
Holy
make money.
Shit.
Yeah. I don't know I don't know what the exact monetization is.
That's what a TikToker was telling. I mean, who knows?
Daniel, you probably know because he was.
Now I get it.
Daniel used to be a Twitch streamer, and he would make a little money on his side hustle. But
Daniel, join us. Are you still there?
He's
Daniel.
I'm still here.
Daniel, do you know the specifics of what TikTokers make? We feel like this is up your alley.
I don't know the exact thing, but I think you're making more money on brand deals that you're selling with ads, and what you are selling to them is the kind of interactions you're getting on your stuff. So it's not like, I mean, yes, I'm sure there's some sort of like advertising that you're getting for how long people are watching your shit, but it's like you have that data and then you take it to companies and you're like, yo, Tushy, give me 20 grand and I'll sell one of your bidets on one of my TikToks.
What's Tushy?
Tushy, the bidet company? Never heard of Tushy?
No. They make bidets?
Well, they do. They're quite popular. Okay. Anyway, but that's the point. It's like you're selling a bunch of ads, and it's like the bigger you are as a TikTok star, you could be making like.
Do you know if you can adjust the water spray?
Yeah. What do you know about Tushy? Can you move it from your anus to your vagina?
I'm actually shocked, you guys. Zach and Donald, you guys. I mean, there's money. You're leaving money on the table, guys.
With this Tushy, Joel, can you Tushy as a sponsor?
Find
please?
Something you like, and then.
Find
something you love.
We like Tushies.
All right.
Daniel, does the water?
I love a nice Tushy.
Daniel, is it the same spout that's hitting your anus and your vagina?
Well,
it just adjusts.
So you have to kind of adjust yourself to adjust.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because listen, if it's that's dangerous. Because if it hits the balls.
Okay, well, you're gonna want to make sure you don't hit your balls. You just got to aim it right. All right.
Just aim it right. It's very gentle. You can adjust the spray. It's great.
Oh,
what happens if you hit? What happens if you hit spray vagina and you don't have a vagina? It just blasts your balls.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole.
And I will say that the thought of whether or not if the butt one goes into the vajayjay has kept me awake at night. It's like, I mean, is it? But then it doesn't matter because it's not that the spray coming out is not touching, but somehow the thought of it weirds me out. So I understand that. And I will say that if you press the wrong thing and you're not in the right position, it will spray. It's sprayed out.
I see.
Of the seat.
Okay.
I
got it.
Yeah. So it's possible.
Well, can you use it as a water pick? What are the? I just want to make sure I get my money's worth. I want to
exactly. That's it. Like, where do we draw the line?
Brushing my teeth, and I just hit the vagina and. Just go like this. Yeah.
Where do we draw the line? That's so true.
All right. On that note, Nicole, you're amazing. Thank you for giving us your time. You're so funny. We loved you on Scrubs. You made me laugh.
I love you guys so much. I want to just talk to you guys all the time. I find you so interesting and funny, and I'm so happy to know you both. Like, you guys are just genuinely kind and hilarious people, and I don't say that about a lot of people. And I really feel that about you.
Nicole Sullivan, everyone. Thunderous applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. It was so great being here.
I like that.
She's funny.
You know why I like? Yeah, you know what though? And she got raw too. She got real, and we had a real conversation about who. We do have a circle of friends, and we do have a tight knit group. You know what I mean? And it's well, you could have pressed the button for that one. Thank you. Don't get lazy with it.
Well, I couldn't find it.
And sometimes it's good to talk to your friends when working.
We've known her for such a long time.
And
she's a very good person. I think she's kind and funny and always loving.
I agree.
And I learned about Tushy
today.
Indeed.
Daniel.
So Daniel,
why have you been hiding
Tushy
from us?
Do you have one?
Why have you been hiding Tushy from us?
I'm not hiding anything. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it.
Joel, can we get Tushy as a sponsor?
Daniel.
Sponsor a lot of podcasts, so we probably can.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yo, that would be great to have. What they install?
I'd like to have them.
They
come
would
on the
send.
podcast
You have to install.
It's very easy to install.
I actually have. I don't mean to sound like I don't have a toilet with a bidet in it. I do.
I don't.
Do you got like the Toto washlet? You got that good one?
I have it's a Toto, but it's all in one. It's not like a separate seat.
Nice.
It's like built into the toilet.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah, it's bougie.
I want one of those one day.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How does it feel?
I bet it feels great.
It feels nice. You know what I really like about it is the seat is warm. When you sit down, the seat is warm.
That's what's good.
And the other thing is you can oscillate. So you put the stream on your anus, and then you can hit oscillate, and then it just like oscillates on your booty.
Okay, I need this. I need this now. I need this now.
Wow.
I need this now.
And
For my house.
If you're worried about any extra little leftovers, it just oscillates on there.
I need this now.
Feels nice.
This sounds
Everybody
like it
likes
cleans.
a little ass play. Don't even
I'm telling you right
taking
now.
a poop.
Thank you.
Whether it be a finger, whether it be a tongue, whether it, everybody likes a little ass play.
There it is.
All right.
There it is.
Wow.
All right. Joelle, how are you? You barely said anything today. I worry. Are you okay?
Yeah, coming off the birthday celebration, it was a big one. It was.
Yeah, you had a good birthday. I saw on Instagram.
let's
Looks like
get
you did it
into
up.
this.
Did you party it up?
You was drinking.
Yeah,
Did
you have some drink?
Joelle.
One of my friends is Korean, and she demanded that I drink. We had to set pace at one point. I said, "I don't drink this much anymore. It's not college." But yeah, it was a
Were
great
you stumbling?
time. I was glad my bestie was there to get me home okay, because by the end of the night, really, I was like, we have to get the pictures, but please, can someone else organize? And trying to wrangle 14 women can be a lot, but we got there and it was so much fun. And, I've never been in a position to be able to like take 14 of my best friends out and like treat them to dinner and like have a whole celebration. And so it was like a whole very really lovely night. And like the rule for the evening was everyone has to feel pretty. There's no like guidance on that. Just as long as you come and you feel gorgeous, that's what I care about.
I love that.
It was lovely.
I love that.
I'm going to the Shrinking premiere tonight.
Ooh,
Shrinking comes out
fancy.
October 16th.
Let's go.
So I don't know when this airs, but Shrinking drops October 16th on Apple TV. So
for your viewing
it will have been out.
It will have been out.
weeks.
I hope everybody's watching it and enjoying.
I hope you're enjoying watching Shrinking. I'm going to see Shrinking tonight.
Before you guys got to see it,
they're going to show 2 episodes, and then there's a little after thing.
Fun.
So
maybe
I'm excited because I directed
the night.
episodes 3 and 4. So I'm excited about that.
That is your thing, huh?
You
direct like the early episodes, huh? Your thing is like 2, 3, or 4, huh? That's your thing?
Well, I like to be early. Yeah, I like to be early. Although last season I was number 8. But 3 and 4 are really good. I'm really proud of them. They're really good. I'm not going to lie.
You were 8. So when we watched that in the parking lot that time.
I showed you guys in the parking lot on my iPhone.
Yeah, we watched the whole episode on your iPhone.
Yeah, that was funny. That was episode 8.
Wow.
Show's really good this year. It's really good.
Last year.
It's really, really good.
Exciting.
I'm proud to be
It was
part
great
of it.
last year.
Yeah,
Good
just
show.
wait though. Damon Wayans Jr.'s on it. I'm probably not supposed to say that, but he is.
Well, let's keep. Well, by this time
It'll be out already.
It'll be out. So
Yeah, it'll be out.
it's good. It's good.
It's good.
So Donald, you don't want to go to Vegas, I guess, huh?
I really do want to go to Vegas, buddy. But listen. I've spent so much money on this shit that I gotta fucking get it done, and I gotta start, and I gotta, you know what I mean? And if I fucking go to Vegas, I'm gonna spend more money, and I can't afford to do that right now. I gotta fucking do this. This is, I'm telling you right now.
I think you might be the subject of my therapy session tomorrow. I'm gonna talk to my shrink about you.
Why?
I just feel sad that I try and plan fun things, and no matter how much lead time I give you, no matter how much prep I give you, you just don't want to do anything.
I want to do so many things with you. This is something that I even pulled all of this stuff out today to fucking try and get it ready. And it was like overwhelming and stuff. Bro, I'm sorry. I do want to go to Vegas, but I have to do this. I have to. Or I'm fucking, I don't know.
It's all
you know
right.
what I mean?
You're a grown ass man. I just miss hanging out with you. That's all.
Can you do a dinner?
I planned this whole Vegas trip, and Donald and Casey are not coming, but I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you are. You're going to fucking enjoy yourself. You're going to be with Bill. You're going to be with Andrew. You're going to be with fucking Charlotte. And now you get to invite probably Carrie and Jessica. And you guys get to fucking go and have your freaking little
It's all right. I'm sure there's listeners listening who have a friend that they wish would hang out with them, and no matter what they do, they can't seem to get the friend to hang out with them. And at a certain point, you just have to say, go with God.
Don't you do it. Don't you give up on us, baby.
All right. What a show.
You want me to do a somber 5, 6, 7, 8?
5, 6, 7, 8.
No, I don't like ending this way. I reject this. Please do it better.
Oh, God. All right. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Stories about a show we made about a bunch of docs and nurses and a